Pawn Stars is one of those shows that you could get lost in for hours. It's so entertaining with its lovable cast, hard bargaining, fascinating and odd items. As Rick says, you never know what's going to come through that door. So sit back, relax, and watch these 30 facts you didn't know about Pawn Stars. Pawn Stars was originally set to be called Pawning History until someone at the production company threw out its current name and decided that Pawn Stars was a more catchy title. PBS did a documentary on Rick in the Shop back in 2001. Rick has been quoted as saying that he's always been a bit of a media whore, and when business spiked after the special aired, Rick started to shop the idea of a TV show around. HBO expressed interest early on and even developed a pilot episode, but their focus was on the more depressing side of the pawn business, which wasn't the angle that Rick wanted to pursue. Rick only finished the 9th grade. He had epilepsy growing up, which led to him being bedridden for weeks at a time. He couldn't go to school when the seizures happened. So he says, I stopped going after the 9th grade. I worked my whole life. I started when I was 12 years old. I bought and sold many things in my life. I've always been sort of a businessman. My whole life I've been that way.
I am a kid who grew up with epilepsy. I have a 9th grade education, and I lived the American dream.
Chumlee is a lovable guy known for being kinda wacky, but one of his dumbest moves of all time, according to Corey, happened before the show was created. After someone came in to pawn a stand-up bass, Chumlee leaned it against a shelf and walked away. The bass fell and shattered into pieces. Chumlee then put the pieces into a box and put the pawn number on the box. When the man came to pick it up, he opened the box and saw his bass in pieces. The customer started freaking out. He had pawned it for $700 and it wound up costing the shop $20,000 because it was actually a very rare piece. Chumlee, for his part, can't explain his actions. I don't know what I was thinking, he said.
Heck yeah, that's Alvin. Alvin, Simon, Theodore. Do.
Yep, your first cousin, Chumlee.
Rick has always been a serial entrepreneur. At one point, he even bought a Quiznos franchise that Corey and Chumlee ran together. Corey's brother Adam used to work at the shop too, but you're probably not going to see him on the show anytime soon. He's a plumber now and likes to stay out of the spotlight. The most dangerous thing that Chumlee has ever tested? One of the blunderbusses. He says that a flame shot out and he got a large burn along the length of his right arm. Pawn Stars has become an international phenomenon, airing in dozens of countries around the world. In Germany, the show is called Die Drei vom Penthouse, which means the three of the pawn shop. Chumlee has pretty awesome taste in TV shows. Among his favorites, Boardwalk Empire, Sons of Anarchy, and Breaking Bad. Jon Bon Jovi once requested to meet the guys. We went to his meet and greet to meet his kids because they wanted a picture with us, Chumlee said. He gave us front row tickets. That was pretty cool. When does Bon Jovi personally invite you to his show? Since the show debuted, Rick gets shooed away from a lot of garage sales and swap meets because people are worried about his shrewd negotiating skills. Last year I stopped by a yard sale and asked a lady about a painting, he said. She recognized who I was and took it away and said jokingly, "It's not for sale." When Rick was asked what some of the weirdest items he's purchased were, his first reply was with Japanese porn. He says, I have some 200-year-old Japanese porn. It's all hand-painted, it's on a scroll down and everything's really exaggerated. It's sort of creepy, and then after I bought it, I realized my mother comes into the pawn shop, so I couldn't display it out there. Austin Russell was given the nickname Chumlee when he was about 12 years old due to his large face and chin. The father of one of his friends once stated that he looked like the walrus Chumlee from the animated TV series Tennessee Tuxedo, and the nickname stuck.
Don't be ridiculous, Chumlee.
As a result of the show's success, Chumlee formed his own company which sells novelty items, including t-shirts of his own design. Chumlee really enjoys collecting shoes. He owns more than 200 pairs.
These are Jordan number 5s. I have 40 pairs of Jordans.
That's it?
And,
Only 40?
Only 40 pairs.
Golly.
In March of 2016, Chumlee's home was raided during the course of an investigation into sexual assault allegations. During the search, police found meth, marijuana, and several firearms. Rick has an older brother, Joseph Harrison, who was a member of a biker gang responsible for numerous crimes. His older brother has gone to jail for both drugs and assault and is considered the black sheep of the family. He has never appeared on the show. Growing up, the old man's family was poor, and to make money, he drove a school bus when he was 14. He would park the bus at his house every night and get up early in the morning to pick up the school children, for which he was paid $5 or $6 a week. In March of 2010, the old man, Rick, Corey, and Chumley were awarded the key to the city of Las Vegas by Mayor Oscar Goodman. The Gold and Silver Pawn Shop gets a lot of old regular items like engagement rings, necklaces, and jewelry, but on odd days, the shop gets its hands on some pretty valuable items. The most expensive item in the shop is said to be a cigar box that belonged to John F. Kennedy, which gives the item a value of $125,000 at the shop. It remains to be the most expensive item in the shop to date. Rick has the car from Smokey and the Bandit. When asked what is the weirdest thing that someone has ever tried to pawn, Rick said, 7 human skulls and a duffel bag come to mind. The guy bought them in an auction from a dental school. Apparently dental schools use plastic skulls now, but they used to use the real things.
Someone came in with a bag of skulls once.
So forever and ever, I mean, if you went to dental school, they would teach you with human skulls. And they're worth about $800 a piece. You can get online and buy them all day long. I just thought it would be really weird, since we're so regulated and I have to fill out a police report on every item, to put on a police report, 5 or 8 heads in a bag. I figured the cops would be in the store pretty quick.
Before the old man married his wife, he stole a car, and after he was arrested, was given a choice by the judge to go to prison or the military. Harrison chose the military, which he turned out to enjoy and stayed enlisted for 20 years. Rick initially spent 4 years pitching a pawn shop themed reality show and getting nowhere. I figured that a show would mean free publicity, and free publicity would mean more business, he says. But everyone told me that no one wants to watch a show about 4 fat guys in a pawn shop. Then History Channel took a chance in 2009. Not only did Pawn Stars become a huge hit for the network, often topping the weekly cable ratings, but it spawned spin-offs, including History's American Restoration, Counting Cars, and Cajun Pawn Stars. In front of the cameras, they did make kind of a big deal out of firing cast member Olivia Black after nude photos of her surfaced. They blamed her dismissal on her previous career as a pornographic model for Suicide Girls. However, a few months later, she revealed that she was still safely employed by the store, having only been fired on camera. Olivia later decided to resume her modeling career and left the shop. Rick is a huge fan of reading and reads even more than he watches TV. Because of my seizures, I was forced to spend a lot of time in bed in my room away from the television when I was a kid, he said. The best way to entertain myself was to read, so I became very interested in history books. When Rick married Deanna Burdett in 2013, their ceremony was officiated by Rick's friend, Danny Coker, who runs the auto customization/restoration shop on the Pawn Stars spin-off Counting Cars. Danny became an ordained minister just for the occasion. Rick was sued in 2014 for melting down a gold coin collection which turned out to be stolen and sold to the shop by the owner's niece. All goods purchased in the Nevada region are subject to being held for 30 to 90 days. However, gold coins are exempt to this law. It just goes to show you what risks second-hand dealers like the guys have to take. Corey is a skilled motorcyclist. Either that or he's an extremely poor one with very good luck. When out collecting supplies for his birthday party in 2014, a piece of his fender broke off. This caused the star to veer off into a high-speed tailspin. He managed to avoid colliding with traffic by jumping off of his bike just as the disaster began. After the incident, Corey went straight to his birthday party, but was sent to the hospital by his family. He escaped with just a broken hand. Yet this was not his first motorcycle mishap. In 2011, he made it onto the news after wiping out while driving from Las Vegas to San Diego. The cause of the crash was going too fast in rainy weather. In May of 2012, Daniel Callahan filed a lawsuit in the district court in Las Vegas, claiming that Harrison and his son Rick failed to provide reasonable and necessary security at their store, seeking around $20,000 for injuries he allegedly suffered from being dragged out of the pawn shop and tossed onto the sidewalk after an argument over a rifle he had bought. Harrison's grandson Corey defended them both, stating that they were never in direct contact with Callahan and that it was in our best interest to get him out of there, he said. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys liked it. Please leave a like or subscribe if you did. Until next time, peace, you guys.